Welcome to Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor, and of course, a big day today. The announcement from Apple about the new iPhone 5. Many people wondering, was it going to be called the new iPhone? Or was it going to be called the iPhone 5? We now know it is the iPhone 5, but along with that, some other announcements of some other products as well. Now, what does that mean for technology? On the line with us is Morgan Reed, the Executive Director for the Association for Competitive Technology, otherwise known as ACT. You can find them on the web at actonline.org to tell us a little bit about this announcement and what does it mean. Morgan, thanks for coming on the show.
Always glad to be here. Well, like the second coming, we all held with bated breath while we waited the announcement of the iPhone 5 and what was it going to be? How was it going to be different? I think what we know now is it's a better phone.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I think that Apple released a product about what we all expected. The screen's a little bigger. The camera is much better. It's thinner because thinner is always better.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it has a new improved camera. As those of you who follow technology know that probably the biggest mover right now in the mobile phone space is coming from a completely unexpected source, and that's the Microsoft-Nokia partnership that produced the Nokia 920. The 920 came out, was announced a few weeks ago, and when it did, people stepped back. Nokia really upped the game on the camera itself, added near-field communication, a whole lot of whiz-bang features, and so there were a lot of questions by those of us in the tech industry is, how would Apple match up?
Yeah.
And I think the answer that we have after today is kind of, sort of. We'll have to, Apple upped the game on the camera, and they made it lighter, sleeker, better display, but there are some new tech features that Nokia did that Apple hasn't matched. Now, I think for those folks who are wedded to their iDevices and have lots of apps, I think this one will make you happy. I think the speed will be nice. I think what folks are going to really find over time that they appreciate about this new device and the new phone is the clarity of the camera and the feature that they really hyped, which is the sapphire lens cover for the camera lens. Now, for your listeners who have an iPhone right now, you know over time that lens on the back of the camera gets all scratched up to heck, and before you know it, every picture you have is blurry, and it has nothing to do with your hands shaking.
Right.
They've changed the lens to making it a sapphire crystal, which should keep us from being able to damage our camera lens quite so quickly. I know that sounds like a small thing, but when you've just spent $400 on a phone, you sure as heck don't want the camera to get scratched up on day one.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about this Nokia partnership with Microsoft. They're able to offer a phone much cheaper than an iDevice is going to cost with the iPhone 5 or even the 4S if they're still looking at that. Do you think the consumers are going to move more towards, well, let's go with the Microsoft, or might they still be a little jaded by how the whole Zune versus iPod took out?
Well, I actually think that there's a third part of this story, and the level of irony has to be visceral up in Redmond. But what I've heard from a lot of people who in the technology community who openly say the Microsoft has the better product right now, or at least the more interesting product, you know what they say? Yes, but it doesn't have any software. And those of your listeners who are old enough to remember the 90s, remember when Microsoft and Apple were at exactly the reverse positions. Apple would come out with a new product, people would say, that's a great thing, but my software's on the PC.
Yeah.
Well, right now we've seen turnabout where the Microsoft might have the better product, but for your listeners with an iDevice with 100+ apps, you've got to say to yourself, what do I do with all those apps?
Yeah.
So right now, I think that Apple still has legs, and I think Microsoft's going to have to continue to up the game to get people to switch. They're going to have to show that it's so compelling and the apps that are on their platform are so interesting that it's worth giving up the 100+ apps that you might already have on your iDevice.
Will Google start getting a little nervous now with this new iPhone 5, you think?
Oh, I think they have to, although it's worth remembering that Google occupies a completely different space in the technology field. The best way to think of it is Apple is a hardware company. In an ideal world, sand would come into one end of the Apple factory and out would pop fancy devices.
Right.
They're the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory of the tech industry. Microsoft is a software company. We all know that oftentimes their hardware products are a little ham-handed, and that's why they turned this one over to Nokia, a company that knows how to make hardware. Microsoft is at its core, it's a software company. And Apple, of course, is a hardware company. But Google is an advertising company. So they make money so long as there are more eyeballs on their products.
Right.
So when you look at the Android devices, they're fine. I don't think this worries them too much because in their world, so long as there's devices looking at advertising provided by Android, by Google, they're making money.
It seems to me also there's quite a bit of an excitement regarding the surrounding of the new iPod Touch, where the iPod is going to be able to do text messaging. It's going to also have this camera on it. Is that still a player then in this technology world and people being able to take the devices with them?
Well, I think that raises a really interesting question. It's clear that Apple is trying to find a way to move their technology and, more importantly, their App Store down market or into different market segments. I think the problem they face here is a very simple one, and that is most people have a phone on them at all times, and a phone means the ability to actually communicate and talk on the phone from time to time and make a call. Now, here's the reality. If you look at the numbers, kids today are almost entirely basing their lives on texting. So if the device provides the level of texting and the connections that the device needs, then yes, the new iPod could find some market penetration. But I think you're going to find that really the desire is still going to be around the phone, which really solves all the problems, and only forces you to carry one device.
Right.
Because I think you'll find that most people with an iPod still have a phone.
Now, with the iPhone 5 announcement and some of the really neat features, we're talking about the camera and how that's much better. And will people with the iPhone 4S be jumping to the iPhone 5, or will they really be able to see a lot of these benefits with the new iOS 6?
Well, the reality is the new iPhone just looks better, and like any kind of new fashion item, I think that you'll find a lot of iPhone S people looking at it and saying, you know what, I want me one of those. Realistically, though, a lot of the features that you'll get out of the iPhone 5 will be available as a free update for iPhone 4S users. And I think that you'll find that most of what you want will be delivered to you with the iPhone 4S in a way that you want it. Here's the kicker, though. Apple has now changed the connector at the bottom of these devices. Buried under all of this is all of those products that you have, all of those aftermarket things to plug it into your car, to plug it into your TV, to plug it into anything in your house that you plug your iPhone into, all need to be changed.
Oh.
Now, the good news is Apple is allowing for an adapter, but the new stuff you buy may not have the old iPhone adapter on it and may only feature the iPhone 5 style iPhone 5 plug. If that's the case, I think you're going to find a lot of disruption in the industry while people make a very pragmatic decision, not about which phone they want, but which phone connects to all the things they have spread throughout the rest of their life.
Now, is this a strategy you think Apple is taking to really get people to move to this newer technology?
I think in Apple's case, I think it has more to do with the fact that as a company, they have, one might call it arrogance, one might call it genius, but they have always trod a path of saying, we know best, and if you like our products, go buy our products, and we aren't going to worry too much about the disruption it creates underneath us. They did that to developers when they switched operating systems. They've done that to developers on the phone a few times. So I really think this was probably more of a straightforward engineering decision rather than a business decision. They looked at the plug. They wanted to do some different things with it. They made a change. And I'm sure there were some ugly conversations inside of Apple talking about these issues, but ultimately it looks like the engineers beat out the marketing team.
So in picking one, Morgan, one of the features that you are really most excited about with the iPhone 5, what would you say stands out for you?
Well, I come at two perspectives. As a developer, I think the thing that I like about this device is the greater speed. That it's twice as fast, features a new chip, has great capabilities that allow me to develop new applications that will rock this new, bigger, more capable screen.
Nice.
As a consumer, I'm probably most excited about the camera features, which, practically speaking, really are giving us the opportunity to do away with any kind of point and click, and our phone becomes our only camera in our life.
Yeah, we've heard recently too that some have said that the digital camera might be going bye-bye, the smaller cameras, because everybody's going to be carrying it on their phones. Do you believe that to be true?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. The point and click is gone.
Yeah.
The era of point and click is only is now just kind of watching it drift off into the sunset. Bigger cameras, those with the mirrors and the big lenses, those are going nowhere. Your phone can't come close to matching it, and it never will.
Right.
But for that quick grab candy bar style phone that we all used to have a few years ago, I wouldn't buy any stock in those right now. The phone is your camera.
Absolutely. Well, this is very exciting stuff. Now, Morgan, tell us about the Association for Competitive Technology. What are some of the other things that the organization looks at?
Well, we are an association of application developers. We represent several thousand, more than 5,000 application development companies and individual developers from around the world. So you know our member products because every single one of your users who has an iDevice or an Android device or a Microsoft device is almost certainly using an app built by one of my members. So what we focus on is making sure that the ecosystem has low barriers to entry and, more importantly, that we have the infrastructure necessary so we can make cool apps that your listeners want to buy.
Excellent. Now, if our listeners want to get more information, the website they want to go to
is actonline.org.
Awesome. Morgan Reed, I look forward to talking to you again sometime. Hopefully it won't be until the iPhone 6 comes out, or at least whatever they decide to call it then. You provide some great information. Thanks so much for talking to us.
No problem. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
That's Morgan Reed from the Association of Competitive Technologies. I'm Andy Taylor with Tech Talk Radio at TechtalkRadio.com, inviting you to check out our website more in depth, our blog at blog.techtalkradio.com, and be sure to watch our bi-weekly videos we post here and on our YouTube page at youtube.com/Andy Taylor from our Fox 11 KMSB Tucson News Now video segments. Also look for fresh videos here whenever we get new product into review. Take care, and thanks for listening. Into review. Take care, and thanks for listening. Into review.